everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about tools of engagement, which it's going to be so hard for me to say the title of this series.
You don't have to.
I'm going to try. Okay. This is part of the Hot and Hammered series, book 3. God, that title.
That was an Edelweiss.
I don't think that was either, because I totally would have been like, are you kidding me? Hot and Ham?
Well, and the way that they advertised it on Edelweiss versus the book we got. Because, on Edelweiss, it was, rom-com and, yeah.
Anyway, this is by Tessa Bailey. And so neither of us had read the first 2 books. So we're coming into this without kind of any of that additional...
Didn't know it was a series, had never heard of it. We're just looking on Edelweiss for something different because why publishing's dried up.
We're just 2 teen librarians getting lost in the adult romance section. Like you do sometimes. Anyway, this book is about Bethany and Wes. And so Bethany has to be perfect all the time. She's a super perfectionist. She's part of her family's house flipping business, and usually she's just kind of like the house stager, so like the one that gets all the nice furniture and makes the house look cozy and kind of gives people the idea of what the house could be. Anyway, she's like, this is not challenging me anymore, so she's like, deuces, I want to go do this on my own. So she heads out to pick up to get her own house flip that she got from a friend who, it was his family home, and he let her have it for free to flip it. Her brother's like, you can't do this without me. She's like, watch me. And they keep calling it a Zellweger. I don't know really honestly what that refers to.
You never saw Jerry Maguire?
No.
So in Jerry Maguire, he's this top sports agent, and he has this mental breakdown, and he writes this epic mission statement about how they shouldn't be making money, they should be there for the people, and how they should just be one-on-one and with their clients and make less money. And so they fire him, and he has this huge breakdown in the middle of the office, and he's like, who's going with me? And he's going to start his own company, and he thinks everybody's going to go with him, and he steals a fish because there's and he's like, well, I earned this fish is going with me. And on his way out the door, Renee Zellweger stands up and she's like, I will go with you. And then they start their own little sports agency together. And they have one client, it's Cuba Gooding Jr. Really? Never Jerry Maguire?
Well, that is basically what happens with Bethany and Wes. Wes is looking for the brother, and so he goes with Bethany to help her out. Also,
if anybody else hasn't seen Jerry Maguire, they're good now.
There it is.
Wes, I have it on DVD.
Propositions Bethany for romantic relations. And she's like, you're a playboy, I'm totally not interested. But she kind of is. So as they start working together further on flipping this house, they become more romantically entangled. And Wes has kind of showed up on the scene because his half-sister split after her divorce, and he's come to take care of his 5-year-old niece. And now things are kind of getting a little sketch with when is her mom coming back ever? And so it's a lot of different kind of family drama, and then add into the whole pot this. There's also another piece of the plot that is kind of irrelevant, but it's there. So while Bethany strikes out on her own, some TV producer overhears, and essentially her and her brother are now on this reality show where they're battling it out to see who's flip can earn more money and is better. I feel like that part of the plot is really kind of unnecessary, and it's really kind of very much not there. It's there, but it's not.
So, and I feel like that was what the publisher said the book was about, that it was about this reality show of 2 people competing to flip houses, and there was a romance on one of them.
And that is an interesting concept, but that is
Well,
not
that's the
what.
book we got.
Right.
So I liked this book. I thought this book was fun. It was like a quick read. It was like with everything else in my head, I appreciated not having to think.
I,
Um,
I liked it too. I thought it was well written, honestly. I did. And I thought I was actually shocked because the way that she wrote 5-year-old children was so spot on, and
it's
you
true.
ever see an author get it right with with the young kid, especially in an adult book. Like it was right. I love that they called her Elsa. Like I just the best.
Well,
Um yeah.
I thought it was funny. Like I thought the stuff with like Wes and Laura, and I love the fact that Wes is 23. He was like literally part of the rodeo circuit in Texas. His sister's like, I'm abandoning my kid, so he gets on a plane and comes and takes care of her. And he's 23, but in his mind, like this is family, and he's gonna do that. And I liked that. You
Well,
don't see that a lot.
well, and also because he his background was such that developed that. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he was part of the foster care system. He's going from home to home, and he doesn't have that kind of familial relationship, and so it is super important to him. I just wish that there was more. She could have had more pages and fleshed that out. It would have enhanced the story, I believe.
Well,
It's a great story, but that would have enhanced it, I think.
right. And Bethany, well, first, I also like the fact that Bethany was like 7 years older, but that's besides the point. Bethany and Wes's relationship moved like from like, hey, like, I think you're attractive to, basically like setting up house together. And I feel like in like 3 weeks, and I feel like I would have been willing to read more pages to see that more developed.
So I think it goes from, and like maybe this is just, and I feel like all of the romance books that I've read, not all of them, but many of the romance books that I've read, um, once they have the steamy time the first time, and then like that's all that it becomes focused on, and it's never really about the relationship. And I wish that we had focused on both.
Well, and I feel like with a lot of romance books, like they go on dates and like they go like to the islands or they do something. Whereas in this, it was just steamy time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think so it became almost kind of repetitive after a while, and it's like, oh, it's another steamy scene, and I felt weird being like, eh.
And I didn't think that, and I think part of it
Have
also
we done that? Like, what else?
I thought, see, that didn't get repetitive for me because I thought the book was genuinely funny. Like there were times that I was laughing aloud, and that to me was like the really strength of the book was that it was funny. And like Bethany's like breakdowns, I even found kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I'm leaving my brush on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and they're like they're dirty bird mouths, like
Well, and
the
like the thoughts and stuff, you're like,
yeah.
this is not a read in public book. Because it's like everything, like every thought is filled with curse words and graphic things. So you're like, maybe not.
But no, I mean it's good, especially if you're looking for a dirty, rousing, steamy time. Like
And I'm
this is
totally going to read the books, because this is the third book in a series that I didn't even know existed. I'm going to read the first two books.
um.
So we should rate it. Oh, what?
You'll rate it, but also if you like Katie McGarry, this is definitely like the next step because Katie McGarry's books are steamy, but they're not this steamy. But like I think had there been a little bit more relationship development, like it would be a Katie McGarry book. So there's
Yeah,
that. If you like
she has
her
a lot
stuff.
about, like, there's a lot of relationship development in her books.
Yeah, like well, her characters like are phenomenal for Kate.
Right.
Like Katie McGarry is like peak. But I think that this book incorporates a lot of the kind of social foster care type thoughts. You'll find it in this book. It's just not as well developed as it is in
I
the
kind of want to go back and read like the first two books and then reread this to see if, because like what they're referring to things that happen in the other books. So I wonder if like the characters are more developed if you start from the beginning.
That's a fair point.
Yes.
Okay, so
But I
now
didn't know there was a beginning, so.
we're ready to rate it. So we go from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it is not magical, and it is therefore a horse. Where are you?
I'm like between a 3 and a 4, mostly because I just love when a book makes me laugh, and this book made me laugh.
I'm at a 3. Like, it was funny. It's just like a solid standard adult romance book. Like, it's a 3. It's kind of like a 3.5 because I think that her ability to write young characters and her ability to write was more developed than most. It just wasn't enough for me to give it a 4.
I think I'm going to go with a 4, just because, like I said, like, I finished it a few days ago. I still find it amusing. The characters were strong, and it made me want to read more. Because, like, I have read other adult romance books that have, like, the same level of steamy in relationships, and it didn't make me want to read more. And this one did.
Fair.
That is where we are on Tools of Engagement, and we'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye.